I'm Aphrodite, and this is Aphrodite's house, and I'm re-recording my intro because I forgot to do a disclaimer. These are all my personal experiences. These are just what I've gone through spiritually. This is how I've processed things and how I understand things. These are my spiritual connections that I have with my deities and my ancestors, and how my life has kind of changed. These are just my experiences. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. You know where the exit is. You know how to click off my video. These are just, they're my experiences. They're not for anyone else to understand fully. I mean, if you know, you know, and if you don't, then you don't. I'm not here to make anyone get anything or change anyone's mind or force anyone into believing one particular thing. These just what I go through on a regular basis and my experiences. So I hope this video is helpful. But as always, if you feel like something is wrong, make sure you see a doctor. These are just my spiritual experiences, and with a lot of spiritual psychosis and confusion and things like that going on, it's always important that you put your mental health first. So if you think that you've been experiencing any sort of mental psychosis, confusion, lack of figuring out, who you are as an individual, you may want to click off this video, just because I don't want to say something and it somewhat line up with what you're going through, but you're also going through something else, and then I make a situation worse, if that makes sense. Mental health is so important right now, especially with the way that things are going on in the astral realm, and people are just blatantly being spiritually attacked. We are in the middle of, a lot. So do what's best for yourself first, for your mental health first. Click off, take a break. This video will be here. Come back when you feel okay. Come back when you feel safe. Come back when you feel like your divine protection is in place and like you can really hear this video and hear what I'm saying and not worry about is it spiritual psychosis? Am I kind of losing it? Just take a break, breathe. This video will be here, I promise you. I have no intentions of taking it down. But I'm gonna go ahead and start the video. Bye. Okay. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Aphrodite and this is Aphrodite's house. Still getting used to showing my face on camera, but today's video is actually just going to be an update of my Moldavite video. So I know a lot of people are curious about how I got into it, what drew me to it, what happened afterwards, a lot of that stuff. It seems to be one of my more popular videos. That would be my sister texting me. Okay. As I tried to get comfortable on camera, let's see if I can figure out where or how to start. Okay. Before I even worked with Moldavite, I worked with malachite. I loved working with malachite. It's kind of a toned down version of Moldavite. Okay. So, like I was saying, before I worked with Moldavite, I actually worked with malachite, which I loved. My friend Nimbus actually picked up the piece of malachite that I'm currently using. It now sits on my altar next to Thoth, which is crazy because Moldavite did so much. It did so much. When I first started working with Moldavite, things started to slowly kind of drift apart, kind of fall apart really slowly. Everything that needed to go, I wasn't too shocked. My friend Nimbus and I kind of laughed about it for weeks, how literally all of the stuff that I was complaining about and having to fix and kind of change in my life ended up kind of falling away anyway. Just things I really couldn't handle anymore emotionally. It was weighing a little too heavy on my heart. It was causing me significant stress. It was just making life very not enjoyable. And I think it was the first night I slept in my Moldavite, because I didn't sleep with it when I first got it. When I first got it, it sat and charged on my altar, one of the many I've got around here. And then I actually ended up sleeping with it maybe 2 weeks later. But the kicker is, it wasn't at my house. It was at my boyfriend's house. And I just remember having the most intense, what I thought was a dream. And what ended up happening is I ended up seeing these emerald tablets. And of course, we all know what that means. But I was kind of dismissing it because I have an oracle deck where the emerald tablets were coming. The emerald tablet card kept coming out there too as I was working with Moldavite. And so I really didn't know what to think of it. I thought it was more maybe so confirmation of what the card was saying. Yeah. But then every other time I would sleep in it, I would be inside these massive pyramids. I would see these tablets. I would see these hieroglyphs. And I was like, oh, Thoth, yeah, I've been avoiding you. So it was really my friend Nimbus who was like, well, have you considered, have you considered that it could be Thoth? And I was really like, no, you have your connection to Isis. And at the time, I was more, so working with, I apologize. I'm trying to make sure I'm okay to share this. Okay. At the time, I was working with Sekhmet, and I had a statue of her on one of my altars, and my cat actually broke my Sekhmet statue. I thought it was ironic because here's this cute little black cat jumping on my altar, knocking over my Sekhmet statue. I was distraught for weeks. And so when he was like, maybe Thoth's, coming in to teach some things and, really help with this transitional period as you learn to stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself, manifest this new life for yourself, being the master magician that he is, and just the way he's like the father of magic and all that good stuff. And it was really something that I felt maybe just more so terrified of. I didn't really feel ready. I felt like the Moldavite was pushing me too fast. But then, I thought to myself, if I couldn't handle it, then I wouldn't have felt drawn to buy it. I would have just stuck to my malachite. And when I opened that door, When I tell you, Thoth was one of the, I'm about to cry because I'm so emotional just thinking about it. Thoth was one of the first deities and just energies in general who I worked with, who really, when I would dream or, astral project, he would take me to these places and show me how special the divine feminine was. And it was kind of this situation of, why would you allow yourself to be treated badly by people who are supposed to love you, people who are supposed to be your friends, people who are supposed to help elevate you? Do you not see how these divine feminines are revered? These women literally keep everything together. Yes, men are magicians when it comes to making finances and things like that outside the home, but it's the divine feminine who keeps everything functional. Without you, there is no them. Without you, there is no balance. Without you, there is no keeping things on this peaceful, motherly, loving, nurturing level. It doesn't exist without you. Now, he was speaking about the divine feminine in general, and he was showing me things like marriage, how the divine feminine, from, I guess this would have been one of his older experiences within existence, was so special that you had to really prove that you could afford her, just her in general, because she, the divine feminine, right, was that powerful. You had to prove it. So things like, trading things for wives and for marriage, he was explaining to me, really had nothing to do with how people are kind of making it seem now, or it being more sexist and whatnot. It was literally this divine feminine, this spiritual being who has the ability to connect to multiple dimensions, different realms, just really everything within her and outside of her, has the ability to add to your home. What are you adding to her? What can you offer me to prove to me that you're adding to her? Because I know her existence is adding to you. I don't need you to prove that to me. I already know this. We know how this works, right? So he was showing me maybe 5 or 6 different, what I contributed based off of my comprehension of things and my understanding of things, right? Because sometimes what it is isn't how we perceive things isn't how it is, right? But this is just what I was perceiving based off of what I could understand, and so on and so forth. 5 or 6 different tribes, and the men marrying off their daughters and their sisters, but it wasn't for the sake of just marrying off your daughters and your sisters. It was, this is this divine feminine. These are the abilities she possesses. This is what we've seen her do. She can add this to your home, she can add this to your tribe. She can add this, and when she gives you offspring, when she blesses you with the gift of life, this is essentially what you'll be adding to the bloodline. This is she's the whole package. What can you add to her? What are your skills? What do you possess? What can you bring? And it was more so, no, that's not correct. I'm processing as we're talking. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about who can do what. It was literally about building a community within these other communities, by adding to these communities, by proving that there was worth there, proving that there was power there, proving that they could really genuinely become one there. And I think a lot of us couldn't quite grasp that. This isn't a sexist thing. It's not I'm trading you my daughter for money. This was literally, my daughter improves your life in every aspect. She is the home. She is the universe. And these women were so spiritual, these divine feminine were so spiritually in tune with themselves, right? That every woman, every divine feminine had their spiritual gift, whether it be with herbs or the gift of premonition or building things, creating something out of nothing, literally. And I'm not speaking in the form of, pregnancy. I'm speaking in the form of literal magic, of literal magic. This would be these women with some of the rarest gifts you would have ever seen in your life, or the women who possessed more than one of the rarest gifts, how can we utilize this in the most beautiful way possible while showing her the utmost respect and proving to her that we can add to her existence, right? Because we know she's adding to ours. And when I see this and I'm seeing how revered the divine feminine was, I'm starting to understand why Thoth was really knocking at my door, and why he wasn't appreciating the way that I was accepting these things for myself. It was almost like, you're not my child, but you're my child. I don't understand how we could let this happen. So let's fix this. You've got the Moldavite. It's tearing down those false starts, those false narratives, right? Those false beliefs that you have. That's beautiful. Now let me show you how you should be treated. Let me show you what was going on. Let me show you this, that, and the other thing. And when they really started to roll in, I also discovered that I started taking my spiritual journey a lot more seriously, in terms of deity work, invocations, prayers, just conversation, really listening to what they're telling me, understanding that I can't always have it my way, and that I have to do something when they tell me to do something. I kind of have to get over myself, while also at the same time falling deeper in love with myself. Overall, since working with Thoth, I think everything's changed. Obviously, I've moved. I've grasped a deeper understanding of how my trauma has ruined relationships, whether that be romantically or with friends. I've understood how it's put me in these positions of leaning on people, and while needing help is okay, he has really taught me to take accountability for my actions and how I ended up in particular situations. And yeah. Okay, so the one thing I can say is, if you're concerned about Moldavite and you're unsure if it's for you, take your time, because you never know which deity's gonna come through and hand you your ass once everything starts to fall. Okay, my bad. It's trying to adjust, and this camera only, or like the it only records up to 15 minutes at a time with what I'm doing. So I think a lot of people want Moldavite to be the stone that really ruins your life. That would be Nimbus. I think people want Moldavite to be the stone that really ruins your life. It didn't ruin mine. It didn't ruin mine at all. It actually just stripped away literally everything I ever fucking complained about. It is in fact a very transformative stone. You can start out with malachite if you want something not more simple, but more toned down. Something that will be more of a pointing out of what the problems are stone, rather than I'm just gonna take this from you. It's not easy. It's really genuinely not. I wore my Moldavite today. I had to take it off. And I just cried and cried and cried, because so much stuff is changing, and I felt a little overwhelmed. But it helped me really talk through what I was feeling, and it helped me to release those emotions. I definitely think it's a very beautiful stone. Tektite. I definitely believe it's well worth the money. I believe that when you're ready for it, you feel this unbelievably magnetic pull to it. There's no denying it. There's no getting around it. There's no changing it. It's simply it calls to you. I was lucky enough to have 2 transformative experiences through the one stone, and it's just changed my life for the better. The things I'm still continuing to this day to learn with Thoth and a few others, it's just life-changing. I think this is the first real time I've allowed myself to... That's a lot of energy. I think this is the first real time I've allowed myself to really feel everything and allow myself to believe that my feelings are valid and genuinely believe that. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I will say the way I got to Thoth was a bit more detailed than I started with, mostly just because that was a really weird stretch. You ever get like the energy just like right at the base of your spine every time? So it actually started off a bit more chaotic. It started off with Freemasons. That is a conversation for another time because that's just a wild story in general. Yeah. Overall, I'd say update-wise, my experience with Moldavite is that, like I said, very transformative. Well worth it. Still to this day, teaching me things. It's been months and months. I want to say, how long has it been since I've had that? 5 or 6. I've been in my new place going on 4 months. And I got my Moldavite a couple months before that. So 5 or 6. I'd say about 5 or 6. It's been... wow. Yeah, a journey. Definitely worth it though. So if you're still contemplating it, you saw the first video, this is the update video, this is what happened. If you're still contemplating it, like you're still really pressed and thinking about it, just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. It's well worth the money. It's well worth the experience. Hands down, life-changing. Just do it. Just get over the fear, jump into the deep end and do it. It's well worth it, I promise you. But yeah, that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for coming to my video. Let me know in the comment section below if you got Moldavite, if you're still thinking about it. Let me know if you feel called to Thoth or yeah. I'm listening, I apologize. I am clairaudient, so sometimes when I'm talking, they talk over me, and then I have to stop and listen. Or Hermes. Yeah, so let me know in the comment section if you ever felt called to work with Thoth or Hermes or who. Yes, I know. Yeah. Goes by many names, you know, because that's how it works. One singular energy, many names. You really suck up a lot of energy when you walk into the room. You know that? Anyways, so, yeah, let me know if this video was helpful. That was kind of really random there at the end. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah. I hope I was helpful. I hope it was informative. You guys seem to take better to the videos with my faces in them, so let me know if this is more personal and you just enjoy this more or what. But yeah, that's what I've got for you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!